looking for this perfect experience in a man, and they will say he's doing all the right things. He's taking care of me. He's providing. He's never disrespected me. He's done everything possibly right that he could do. However, he ain't giving me enough attention. But the dope boy down the street ain't got a job. And this nigga got all the time in the world.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So
he gonna hump you like he homeless.
Yeah, he gonna hump you like he homeless because he got all the time in the world. He ain't tired. You know,
he's a sexual professional. He ain't got no choice but to be.
Yeah. That's what it is. So the thing is, you'll sell out that good man for this terrible man because he had enough time and enough energy for that attention. You know what I'm saying? So you'll trade that off. Now, men would do the same thing. Men would do the same thing, no doubt. Men will do the same thing if they are, like I said, if they had too many sexual experiences, had that.
And raised by hoes. If they raised by hoes and in a house full of women, how likely is that man to respect women? Right. You see what I'm saying? That's why I know the promiscuous men are raised by women. Like
a lot of them.
Yeah, by and large. I'm talking about by and large. So I'm very, very adamant about that. Like I put money on it. That's what I'm saying. Like they might be the exception within the population, but they're the most discussed, and that's the burden that gets dumped on the black man at large because the majority of us don't have children.
That's true.
So women can only blame the men that they slept with. You can't blame the men that got married and had their kids in the house with their wife.
Right. I will say that. I will say this.
Well, let me count these off real quick.
Go ahead,
I want to narrow it down. You know, you can't blame the men that married and had children within the marriage.
Mm-hmm.
You can't blame the 50% of men that don't have kids at all, that you're not attracted to, that you won't sleep with, that you're not interested in dating, right?
Right.
So that leaves us with the remaining 25%. Now you got baby daddies and you got single fathers. The single father population is about 15%. The remaining 10% is the baby daddies. And they have kids from they start making children at age 15 to 19. Now, where is a baby daddy living between the age of 15 and 19? He living with his mama.
Yeah, most likely.
So that group of men that's got the multiple kids by the multiple women, they raised by women.
Mm-hmm.
It's a self-producing cycle. They come from the same demographic. Because if you come from a two-parent home, you're less likely to be attracted to someone that's raised in a single-parent home. Mm-hmm. We're not saying it don't happen, but by and large, the majority of compatibility is not there. But if you got a bunch of dudes that all live in the same neighborhood, and they all got mamas that's also hoes, and they got sisters that's hoes, they got aunts that's hoes, the likelihood of those men being hoes or either putting on a skirt or doing both or humping both men and women is a whole lot higher.
Yeah, it's definitely higher.
And then and that's why the gays and the gangsters end up in the same penitentiary. And they come to the same neighborhood. They go to the same schools and they keep on humping on each other.
I got you. And I can kind of give you a definitive example of that is I had both mom and dad at home. Mm-hmm. And even in my father's mistake, let me repeat that, even in my father's mistake, it made me into a better man.
Yep.
And it made me into a man that did not want to go out here and have promiscuous sex with a whole lot of women because my father cheated on my mother. Mm-hmm. And through seeing the pain and the breakdown,
it corrected you
of my mother's whole personality. It said to myself, I don't never want to break a woman like that. I said to myself, I don't never want to break a woman like that. It went through my brother too, because my brother's a good man. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, like we saw it. We learned from our father's mistake.
Yep.
And said he didn't even have to say nothing. It's just a mistake.
You just had to respect your dad enough to say, he made a mistake. I got to respect his mistake. He fucked up.
He fucked up. So at the end of the day, we're going to break that chain right now. And that's what it was to me and my brother. We're going to break that chain right now. We not going to carry on like my pops did because that cost a lot. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of cost behind that. You know what I'm saying? Let's see what Sydney said, right? Black men need to respect Tyler Perry enough to have these conversations so that conversations can come about and those movies can be written. Think about it. He could be the savior for the story of black men, but you cannot get a man to do business with people who don't respect them. Tyler Perry was rejected by Masculine. That's why he doesn't cater to you. Okay, so I can explain this. And you are correct. I think that the conversation.
That's a great question. But look, before you run off on that, let me say something about this too, because this, like in the code, when I wrote the code, I got tired of black people being shamed by black people calling each other, like names for not being embraced on the same ideological wavelength. You know what I'm saying? And what I was saying then is like, how you gonna shame people that you say you want to be accepted by or be accepted with, and then when they go through their journey and figure out where they want to be at in life, and then you come back to them and you try to be embraced by them again, but how you gonna be embraced properly by the same people that were shaming you? You can't have it both ways. So I like what Sydney's saying on that, and in regards to that, I know exactly where she's going with this. You just can't disrespect people that you want help and support from. You can't have it both ways, But go ahead, Cavi, run off on that.
Right. So when it comes to Tyler Perry, do I have a certain level of respect for Tyler Perry? Absolutely. I definitely do have a certain level of respect for Tyler Perry because Tyler created something beautiful, out of his struggle. You talking about a man coming from homelessness to becoming a multi-billionaire, right? So he's very powerful in that. You know what I'm saying? Made his own studio, did all those great things. So I have to have a certain amount of respect and love for Tyler for that. Tyler, unfortunately, introduced himself to the black man in the wrong light because Tyler Perry came out with a lot of material that made black men look really bad in a really bad light. So that's where that whole beef came about. I think Tyler tried to repair that.
He did
with the movie Temptation, because Temptation was showing the negative side of what women could do because of temptation. It didn't do so well with women. So Tyler says to himself, well, I built this $1 billion industry or this $1 billion business out of catering to women and their pain and their trauma. So perhaps let me go back to how I built this thing. He was in the right direction, because I know a lot of men that watched that movie Temptation and they were like, damn, finally, bro, like you finally showed our side and our pain. The good man, the righteous man that was taking care of his woman, taking care of his wife, but that wasn't enough. It didn't have enough attention. It wasn't enough excitement. So she had to go after the bad boy with a little dough, had a little money to spend on her, could take her to trips, had some time, and she sacrificed her whole life, for that. So at the end of the day, he did try to go into that direction, but I do understand from a business perspective of saying, you know what, this is not my money maker. Let me go ahead and go back to what I had before. Damn, I done went dark. My damn lightning ran out of battery.
Oh man, yeah. Like that was a great observation though by Sydney, because are we gonna? So let's just say Tyler decides, hey, I want to mend my connection with black men.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think I think black men would embrace me if he put the right product out. I think they'd give it a shot.
Yeah, I think he would. I think they would. I think we would. And he did give it a shot. But like I said,
yeah, I think under with the right script, I think it would just take. I think that's all it would take, personally.
Right. It's kind of tell the story of both. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, men go through a whole lot of things too. It's that story that men speak about amongst each other, but we don't speak about with everybody else. You know what I'm saying? So when you have men who've had that experience at an early age of people being molested at a very young age by women or by men, It don't matter how you look at it. You know what I'm saying? That story does need to be told, I think, to kind of even things out, to say, okay, well, you have these, I like how Sydney put it, a little while ago. She said hypersexual, right?
Yep.
You have these hypersexual men that are hypersexual because they were just exposed to sex at a very early age where they couldn't understand what was happening. You know,
they was already groomed. That's what I'm saying. Like that, those
Right.
guys that I talk about in that age bracket, 15 and 19, they already living in households that groom hypersexual children. You know, because
right,
because they mama's hoes. You know what I'm saying?
So and when you 11, 12 years old getting fucked on by a 35-year-old, let's just be honest, that 35-year-old is not going to be the cleanest, not going to be the prettiest, that's going to be a horrific experience for you. You know, so what does that do to your imagery of black women?
It changes the optics completely. It doesn't allow you to see them. You get the unboxed gift out the box from the get-go. It's like opening the gift before Christmas. If you celebrate that, you know, it's like you're not, there's no surprise element.
Right.
It's just reality for what it is. It's like people take advantage of whatever's available. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because when you are undisciplined, everything's instant gratification driven.
Absolutely.
You don't have patience. Like, that's why I talk about discipline so much. Everything in life that's worth doing, that requires grit, effort, routine, timing, and respectful communication, all comes underneath discipline, the umbrella. The
Absolutely.
undisciplined person has none of those things, and they get locked up or they go to the cemetery. Mm-hmm. And if they have children, their children inherit their poor discipline. You know, like one of the main things we talk about, inheritance of money and assets and all this other stuff, right? We don't have enough generational wealth because we don't have enough 2-parent nuclear homes with enough people to pass down. What we need to be passing down is our mindset.
Right.
Well, that's one thing that you can be responsible for, is the psychological imprint that you have on those that are in your care, underneath your guidance, underneath your supervision, whatever terms you want to use, your leadership. You know what I'm saying? Like when we talk about legacy, we're not ready to talk about what we need to have the right context around that word when we're having it. You know, like legacy needs to be about the impact that you make on the world. Legacy can't just be about you made some kids, because some people come from a long line of dope dealers, killers, and prostitutes. It's just the truth of it. And you are not responsible for your origin, but you're responsible for the steps you take once you realize where you are. And then once you realize where you are, you don't get to make excuses. You got to come up with solutions. Solutions only, man. The closer you are to complaints, the further you are from your destination of where you really meant to go. Your purpose is not aligned with complaints. Your purpose is not aligned with blaming people. Your destiny is aligned with discipline. Your goals that you want to accomplish is aligned with discipline, repetition, and doing things in good faith. And what do I mean by doing things in good faith? Not just attempting something and assuming something negative is going to happen. Negative assumptions is aligned with poor emotional discipline. Poor emotional discipline is dangerous for everybody because it gives you license to make guilt-driven decisions, you know, where you don't have no accountability. Instead of, you start using words like, I'm going to try to do it. That's a permission to fail. That's a permission to quit. Mm-hmm. Trying is a permission to quit. But when you say I'm going to do it, there ain't no questions about it. You don't talk about it until it's done. If you say you're going to write a book, don't say I'm going to try to write a book. Say I'm going to write a book. It just like when you say, hey, we need to get on camera, I say I'm there. You know what I'm saying? You primed the conversation earlier. You know what I'm saying? And if you're going to be available, I'm going to be available.
Right.
Nothing happens unless you got enough discipline to be where you say you're going to be and do what you say you're going to do. So that's why, like, you got to stop grading people on their potential. You got to grade them on their outcomes. What have they already done? And this is where, like, the sexual discipline piece gets mixed up really bad. You know what I'm saying? Between man and woman. Women grade men on their potential. And then that way they can act shocked when it doesn't work out. Men grade women on what they are right in front of them. Oh, she got 3 kids by 3 different dudes. You know what I'm saying? But because that's the only thing that justifies why a man can have three kids by 3 different women and a woman to still want to sleep with him. Because how she thinks she gonna do better than the last? Like, come on, man. Like Nick Cannon got how many different? He got 12 kids with how many different women?
Man, it's a lot.
So for whatever the number is, what made the woman that signed up last say this is it?
Money.
We know that. You know what I'm saying? But we just need to be honest about it. You know. All right, folks. Appreciate you sticking with me to the end. This has been another episode of Beyond the Algorithm. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Go get the book. And most importantly, I will see you beyond the algorithm, because that's where life actually happens.